Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in live. This is our Facebook Live Q&A series, our Family Strong series. You might think to yourself, where is Lindsay today? So today it's kind of special because we are at our annual Shareholder Investor Golf Classic. So we're at Lake Hickory Country Club, the Catawba Springs course. So have some new scenery behind me today. But we had to reschedule our tournament due to Hurricane Sally last week. So couldn't buy a better Chamber of Commerce weather day, right? So couldn't be a better place to have a great conversation with Cameron Bixby today as my special guest. So extremely excited to come to you and to bring this series to you. We've been overwhelmed with some really great comments on these interviews over the last several months. And we know that we're going to have another great show for you today. So thank you again for tuning in. If you are live, I encourage you to drop us a comment. Tell us that you are watching live. So hashtag live would be great. If you are joining us for the replay, welcome. Thanks for stopping in. We're grateful that you have came in to hear from Cameron today. But first, before we get to Cameron, I want to say thank you to our generous sponsor. So Mike Kelly with Hickory Real Estate Group has graciously sponsored this series, the Family Strong series. He's a family-owned business himself. So Mike, thanks for being here and thanks for sponsoring.
Thanks, Lindsay, and I really appreciate the opportunity to help sponsor this series. It's just been a really great series so far. And I'm really looking forward to everything that you've got coming up, especially Cameron. She's got a great story, and like I said, I know her as well, and so I'm sure that it'll be a really good show. And just happy to be here, and glad to have the opportunity to be on here. Just a quick shout out for Hickory Real Estate Group. We are a full service real estate company in Hickory, North Carolina. We cover our whole general market, which is Catawba County, Caldwell County, Burke County, and Alexander County. And if you know anyone looking to buy or sell a house, check us out. Our Facebook page is pretty active, and you can find us also at hickoryrealestategroup.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Thank you guys very much for being our sponsor and making this possible to bring forth business leaders from across our community, to interview them, to hear their story about them as a leader, but also about their business. So we appreciate you guys. So again, if you're tuning in, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. This is part of our Facebook Live Q&A series. Our theme of this series is Family Strong. So we're bringing to you different business and community leaders who are part of family businesses. So these organizations, and the one today has been was founded 72 years ago, Catawba Insurance Agency. You're going to hear from Cameron Bixby here shortly. But these companies have stood the test of time. They believe in generational leadership. They have adopted ways and evolved over the years to serve their customers and bring forth quality customer service or quality products to their customers. And so grateful to be able to do this. So like I said, today, Cameron Bixby, she's the Vice President of Community Relations with Catawba Insurance. So Cameron, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So if you haven't had the chance to meet Cameron, which I'm pretty sure everybody in Catawba County knows Cameron or has worked with Cameron in the past, she's such an avid supporter of local. She understands it, right? She's a family-owned business. She's a small business. They rely on support from our community and our region, and she does it herself. She really models or practices what she preaches, and preaches what she practices. So Cameron, a little bit more about her. She's a third-generation member, the family member working at Catawba Insurance Agency. They're located in the town of Catawba. She, as I mentioned before, is the Vice President of Community Relations. She also serves as the chair the board president of the Hickory Young Professionals. And that's not it. If we could list, she's also been a chamber ambassador. She serves on the chamber board. Cameron is extremely active and engaged in our community. So again, Cameron, thanks for being on here with me.
Thanks.
I'm looking forward to our chat today. All right, so first, before we get into the meat of the interview, we like to do a rapid fire Q&A. Let's get to know Cameron in 5 minutes or less. Cameron, you ready for this?
Sure.
All right, here we go. What is one of your company values?
Quality. What we do, we aim to do well.
What's one cause that's near and dear to your heart?
I can't pick one, I have two. The March of Dimes and the Walk to End Alzheimer's are both important.
What's one of the most random facts about you?
When I was growing up with my dad, we always watched Law and Order, SVU, and I guess it stuck because I like to watch murder mysteries. I like Criminal Minds and NCIS, and then, all about more in-depth real life murder mysteries. It's a little odd.
We have that in common. I love it. I love that. I didn't know that about you before. Awesome. What's your go-to productivity trick?
I find that because I'm on the road a lot, going to listen to podcasts when I'm in the car helps rejuvenate me and get me excited for the next time I can sit down and really put in some real work, some good work. So podcasts are probably, whenever I have downtime, the reason that I can jump right back in and keep going.
What's an experience you've had lately that you would rate a 10 out of 10?
Lately. With COVID, that is tough. I will say in January, we were lucky to take our first Disney cruise, and I was very anxious about taking a cruise, but it was 10 out of 10 for sure.
What's the best piece of advice you've received?
I want to leave people better than I found them. So when I heard this, I've leaned on this a lot lately as things continue to get busier, but you can't pour from an empty cup and you have to take care of yourself first. And that has been, that's been key here lately.
Yes, absolutely. All right. The queen of supporting local. What would a day of supporting local look like to you?
Oh my. We aim to support local. I mean, it came from you, Lindsay. I learned it from you. So in all that we do, if we don't invest locally, obviously, your main street goes away. That's right. So I get every time we make a purchase, we make the point to support local. The farmers markets here in the area, obviously we would visit breakfast or brunch at one of the local like Heart and Soul Cafe or Cindy's in Catawba. Coffee probably from like Cade's Coffee Truck. Maybe a paint class at Nailed It, do it DIY in Hickory. Finley loves that kind of stuff. Normally we make our way to Catawba for dinner. Brian really likes to get the cauliflower crust pizza at Pops or gnocchi at Rose and Daisy. We always end up with either ice cream at Catawba Creamery or Sweet Frog or Delishy. It's always somebody's got to have ice cream. So, we shop local everywhere. It would be hard to pick just one day what we would do.
Oh, I love it. Love it. That sounds fun. That sounds like a really fun day. All right. If you could have a 15-minute conversation with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, my father. I heard this question lately and I thought about that. And I thought, would there be anybody else? But, when somebody gets taken away from you too soon, it's like, I'd really like to know what their thoughts are on today. Like what's going on today. After he passed away, somebody told me that he would live on through all those who knew him that continued to live around me. And I'm lucky that I get to learn. We've got team members here at the agency that he hired. And so I learned from them stories about him and focal points, things he focused on. And so that's true. That's the closest I can get to having that conversation with him, is to be able to learn from others who he lived around.
He would be so proud of you guys. I know he's proud of you guys. What could you give a 30-minute presentation about with no advanced preparation?
Right now, it would probably be Hickory Young Professionals. There's a need, obviously in our community to help attract and retain young professionals. And the energy that I've been able to receive from getting to serve with such a talented young group of professionals has driven me to work harder every day, to work with that initiative and to better myself. We have so many talented people in this community, and when you put them together, it's amazing the electricity that comes out of it.
We do, and thank you for your leadership in that. Those of you that are just popping on, welcome. We're doing a rapid fire Q&A. I have my guest, Cameron Bixby. She's a Catawba insurance agency. So if you like something that she's saying, give her some hearts and wow faces or likes. Thank you so much for your engagement on Facebook. Please share the video as well, or start a watch party. So, all right, Cameron, jumping back in. Is there something that has made you smile recently?
Finley, my daughter, always makes me smile. We recently came across a flash mob, like a young guy singing in the mall, and he was singing "How Great Is Our God," and his church came in and started singing it with him, like they had planned it. And we play it every morning on the way to school, and we both, it's like I grin from ear to ear the whole way there. Not only does it lift me up, but it lifts her up, and it's just like, that child is wild. But yeah, she's what makes me laugh.
Oh, that's so special. So this might be there might be an obvious question to this, or answer to this question, but when you aren't at work, where can we find you?
I'm all over the place. But the more pregnant I get, the more of a homebody I am becoming, for sure.
If you can jet set anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh, I've always loved to travel, and Brian, he hates for me to talk about Australia because I talk about it all the time. But I would love to take the chance to take my family back to Australia, where I studied for a while when I lived in Australia.
What's your favorite family tradition?
Spending time with my family during the holidays is probably my favorite family tradition that we have. It changes every year, obviously, as our families grow. But during COVID, our family's not had a lot of opportunity to spend time together, and I desperately miss that. So I'm looking forward to the holidays more than ever this year in hopes that we can actually get some of that time together.
And what is one word you would use to describe what it's like working with family?
Challenging. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, right?
Yeah. Great.
It's definitely one of the most difficult but rewarding things.
And for those that don't know, Cameron works with her brothers. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
Sure. We are a family-owned agency here based, like Lindsay said, in Catawba on Main Street. We're a third-generation agency, and our agency was started by my grandfather, David Hunsucker, when he worked at People's Bank here in the town of Catawba. He saw a need for it here. He was a very smart man, and he started our business in 1948. Then as time passed, my father and my mother purchased it from him, and we moved locations in the town of Catawba 3 times. This building that we're in today is actually the building that my dad and my mom were operating out of, and it used to be our house. So on Main Street in Catawba, they tell us stories about how the building used to be laid out and how they'd keep Patrick on one side of the house and me on the other side when he had chicken pox. And then we relaid it out, and some of our team that are here, that have been here for years, can tell me different ways that the agency was laid out and different things we've changed. So it's really been through the ringer here where we're at, lots of changes. But after Dad purchased the agency, he was a servant leader for sure. But I can remember they tell me that he was not a salesperson. He was very passionate about the business, and he sold through his relationships, but he was just so smart. He was smart with his math, and he had a hard work ethic. He put himself through college at Gardner-Webb in 3 years, working 4 jobs.
Wow.
And I can remember Mom telling me he would drive back and forth in a car where the seat wouldn't move. So he was really tall and she was really short, and they'd put a Tide box behind her so that she could drive his car, and he would light a candle and put it under her feet whenever they drove for extra heat. So it was very, very interesting stories. But when he got here, he worked hard. He became the youngest president of the Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina, which is a statewide association here for independent agents in 96 and 97, and made some wonderful relationships, which we continue to work with and utilize through the agency. But when he passed, my older brother, Patrick, unexpectedly stepped in sooner than we thought he would have to. And Taylor also was already here in-house. He had gone to school at UNC Charlotte and gotten his degree and had started here not long before Dad passed. It wasn't until later that I came on board. So yeah, that's how we got started here in Catawba.
What a legacy. So Cameron, did you always picture, I mean, clearly you didn't start your career at the agency, as you just mentioned. So did you ever think to yourself that there could be a possibility that you would work for the family business? And then how did all that come about?
I was always adamant, no, I'm not going to work for the family business. I would come in and sleep in the floor while Mom was working and help clean the bathrooms and stuff like that, do stuff with Dad to help him get proposals ready. But I was not by any means coming to the agency to work. Insurance is not something that people grow up thinking, I really want to be an insurance agent. But I guess I was intent on proving that I could do everything that my brothers could do and that my parents could do without coming into the agency. And I did for quite some time, and I enjoyed my career. But when Dad got sick, I parted ways with that company and was able to spend the last few weeks with him. And it just seemed like the agency was the right place for me to be. I was able to fill in some of my mom's roles so that she could spend more time with him. And just for a little bit, at least, I thought this is where I could be of help. So I had been working 70 and 80-hour work weeks prior. And when I got here and actually got to dig in a little bit, I realized what an amazing industry it is and how blessed I am to be able to pour into our family business and to the amazing team that my father created that has stuck with us as we've made the transformation to where we are now, and also in our community. And I wouldn't change being able to work here and what I do for anything.
I love that, Cameron. You're so passionate, and it comes through when you talk about it. I'd even see it in your face, how proud you are. And again, going back to talking about your dad and his passion and his strengths, I see those in you and also in your brothers, that when I have the chance to work with them, I know he would be extremely proud. So talk about your team. I mean, you just mentioned how proud you were of, and I know you guys have team members that have been there for a long, long time. So talk about your team that you have surrounding you.
They are amazing. They, like I mentioned before, teach us things and tell me things. Patrick actually installed a bell here in the office, so when something positive happens, it's in Dad's name and we can ring it so that we can engage more and learn and tell stories. But we have 9 employees, Sarah, Lindsay, and Crystal, who have been with us for over 15 years. We're probably getting closer to 20 years for most of them. Crystal's been since she was a baby. We joke that when Dad hired her, she was just out of school, and she teaches us all about the things that he taught her and how he pushed her to continue to grow in her career because he saw it in her, and now she does the same with us. And we also had Lynn, who recently retired, who also had been here for quite some time. But now we have hired on Anna, and we have also hired on Gid Moser in sales, and both have been really good additions to the agency and to our culture here. And then also my brothers, Patrick and Taylor, are here. And then my mom, who comes in, when she needs to. She enjoys being first on the phones when she's here, and you can hear her all the way down the hallway laughing and talking to the people and carrying them. It's funny to hear Patrick come down and say, you gotta and then sometimes you'll see what I like to call our 4th generation little ones running around here also. So each of us has a child that will be hiding under our feet and sleeping under our desks some days when they have to come to work with us. So yeah, we've got a great team here, and they partner. I guess they're so great to know that I might not be in and out of the office the same one week as I am the next week. They allow me to get out and engage with the community. I get to invest in initiatives for Catawba Insurance Agency that helps make things better here and in our communities. And I get to help take care of the people that we have relationships with, the things they care most about. I think that's probably one of the things I get from my dad, in that I'm not a salesperson. I don't claim to be a salesperson, but I do care about the relationships that I have. And if I can help someone, not just through the bottom line, we're not a business that sells on, let us get you the cheapest rate. You know, we're here to make valuable partnerships and provide positive customer experience and bring that knowledge we have here to the table to really do good things for the people that are our customers, and both our markets and our customers.
Cameron, you talked about your unique culture. You're talking about now, even how you guys serve your customers well. What else do you feel makes Catawba Insurance unique?
Obviously, our story, I think, is something that makes us different. But in the insurance industry, they always say everybody's got a story. You know, you can't be the same as every other agent down the road. I think that the expectation here for us was set forth early on to be honest and to provide quality services to our community. And while we continue to educate ourselves in different areas and learn and grow to bring those tools back, and the great markets that we work with to make something special for our customers to truly benefit from. So a combination of both the knowledge and the personal attention, that's part of it. It's a legacy, you know, that we are living out, and we feel like we have a duty to take care of it. Times obviously have changed since Dad and Granddad were in the agency, and our visions here continue to remain the same. We focus on delivering the highest level of customer service to our customers, and doing so on the foundation of building innovative and successful opportunities for all of the insurance needs of our customers. So that's, I feel like that's a long answer to your question, but
no, it's incredible. Talk about, you mentioned, you know, the vision has remained the same, but you guys have adapted and evolved over the years. Talk a little bit about how has the industry changed and how have you guys evolved to adapt?
Well, you'll see things out there like Lemonade or other opportunities for people to acquire insurance that are quicker and easier. And in the world we're in today, people want to be able to pick up their phone and get it and be done with it. We don't operate that way. We have come to operate more that way, but let's be honest, we're in the market of selling something that's not tangible. You can't put your hands on it, right, and you can't physically hold it. And it's something that you pay for consistently, but hope that you never have to use.
That's right.
So we had to find another way, and we continue to find another way to sell that product. Who really wants to buy something like that in the first place? So it's our job to be able to never, or to articulate in today's world the importance of the costly risks that you might be facing on a daily basis for both your business and your family, and what we can help you do to minimize those risks and to cover yourself in case of the unexpected. So it's hard to get what you really need just by typing information into a computer and getting a quote that pops up, when if you have a relationship, you might say something that triggers, oh, we need to offer them this. They might need spoilage coverage. They have a trampoline in their backyard. They have no idea that dog is going to cost them more insurance. Things that if you type stuff in and just answer questions on a computer screen or on your phone, it's going to get missed. And then when you have a claim, there's an opportunity that you may not have who you need going to bat for you. So we try to take those things that we can offer and really put them forth into what we do as independent agents here in the community. So basically the opportunity that we provide, you know, is that we have an office here and a real person you can call, a door you can walk through when you want it. And we can also provide the online services. That we have a new app called Catawba Customer Service 24/7. So people are able to pay their bill online, but they still have an office they can walk into whenever they have questions. And they have an agent that will stay on the phone with the markets and go to bat for them when they have a problem. So I don't know if that helps answer a little bit of that question. I guess there's so many things adapting in the insurance industry. just like with other markets, but that's the best way that we found to face it thus far.
Cameron, you talked about, you guys are third generation in the business. You talked about your fourth generation that is either taking naps on the floor or, sitting in the corner, having snack, just observing their parents working and carrying forth this business that you guys have been entrusted with. And so vision, you mentioned it, the way you do business has certainly changed, but that vision has just remained the same, and taking care of customers and building relationships with our local community and just making our community better. That's another value of yours that I see that's very obvious. So you guys have embraced generational leadership. And I know that there's a skill to that and an art to that as well, and making sure that the business continues to carry on and doesn't lose that what makes it unique. So talk a little bit about generational leadership, and then two, I'd love for you to talk about your vision for the agency into the future.
I have to say, honestly, it's not an easy feeling to feel like you're carrying the torch and that you might make the wrong decision in something like this when you're third generation and your predecessors have poured so much into the business. There are things that we do to cross the generational boundaries. My father was one that was adamant. He did not like us to utilize social media in many contexts, and he had very smart reasons for it. Myself, being a communication major, I feel like the importance of being out there and being visible is so much more. So I try to marry those two together based on his reasons and based on where we are in today's world. Like last night, I watched some of The Social Dilemma on Netflix at your recommendation and Denise Ryan's recommendation. And I assume I will continue to change up our marketing tactics the same way that Patrick and Taylor and Mom and Crystal will change the things that they're choosing for the agency to do based on how 2020 continues to evolve and based on what we see the needs to adjust are in the future, but continue to tie it to some of the core values that our previous two predecessors had done here, my father and my grandfather. We don't necessarily focus a lot on generational leadership directly, but more on ensuring that we are in the right roles to be successful in the interactions that we have. Patrick and Taylor are good golfers. They may not walk into a meeting and want to stand up in front of a leads group and say, I'm so-and-so with Catawba Insurance. They go to the golf course and they do their work, and I will not be found on a golf course golfing. I can be out there with you guys today and help in that instance, but building those connections and those relationships and building trust through the avenues that we have strengths in are the ways that we're adapting. We were raised by our parents to never write anything down that you wouldn't want to see on the front page of the paper, and pay attention to what you're discussing. We don't discuss politics and we don't this and we don't that, because our focus needs to be on the relationships and knowing how to gain trust from people we engage with and not putting out there things that might deter those relationships. That requires us to be more cognizant of how we carry ourselves and how we handle those opportunities that are set before us. We have made moves internally and are constantly evaluating the improvements that we see that are needed here to ensure that each person is able to excel in their work and in the role that they have. Each generation has added and changed things, but our agency has always had the original foundation. We say, Granddad started this on a handshake, a word and a handshake, and that's not obviously where we're at today, but we're going to continue building for the future and focus on the big picture and how we can continue to change as needed based on COVID and everything else. Obviously, technology plays a large part in that. So when you say, what do I see for the future? I know Patrick has wonderful hopes and aspirations. He brings a lot to the table. He serves on the insurance PAC committee, where he gets to deal a lot with the political action. And that helps us determine some of the things we're doing. And Taylor focuses a lot with Blue Cross Blue Shield and group plans. So he's able to guide us with recommendations on that. So we each have our own forte, or each have our own niche that we bring to the table in discussions, and hopefully the future will continue to be bright. I have no hopes, or I have no interest in going anywhere else. I hope to stay here as long as they'll keep me.
That's great, Cameron. How can people find you, do business with you? Talk a little bit about your website, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. We are online. Like I said, you can get quotes online at katabainsurance.com. We obviously do have an app, but that's going to be something primarily for customers and clients to be able to utilize and pull down their certificates and that kind of thing. On Facebook, we are also under Catawba Insurance. There's lots of Catawba Insurances out there. We are based in Catawba on Main Street, so that's an important thing to look for. And also you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and all the places. Our phone number for here at the agency is 828-241-3166. You may get me, you may get Mom, you may get one of our wonderful team members down front. Sometimes I think Brooks answers the phone. So you just never know who you're gonna get. But yeah, we're all here. My father was adamant that we did good business with good people. So you will not find us approaching someone that we feel like won't treat our team well. And we hope that the relationships that we've built will continue to allow us opportunity to do business with people here in our community that want to do good business.
Cameron, I have no doubt. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Thank you for sharing your story and your passion. Thank you for talking about your family. I loved hearing all those stories. You guys have an incredible team. I want to also thank you just for partnering with the Chamber. Thank you for everything you do to make our community better. And you're such an asset and you're such a gift to this organization and this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys, thank you for joining us today live. We're so grateful you spent your lunch with us. I'm actually, if you didn't figure it out, I'm not at the Chamber. I'm at Catawba Springs. And look, we've got some golfers around me. So we have our annual golf classic today. And so we have beautiful weather that we're so grateful for today. So I want to thank you for joining in and listening to Cameron and her story, tell her story. If you did not hear the whole interview, don't miss a word of it. Go back once this thing is live and catch the replay so you can hear the whole thing. Also, if you don't mind, give us some likes, hearts, and wows and make a few comments. If you drop a question after the interview's over, I'm sure Cameron will hop on there and answer that for you. But Facebook likes when we have engagement in these videos so that more people can hear everything that Cameron has to say. Our next interview is October the 14th, same time, so over the lunch hour. I will have the privilege of interviewing Stephen Shuford. He's the CEO of SureTape Technologies, another company that has been in this community for a long time. So again, thank you for joining in. We will now say goodbye and see you next time.